agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga, the man with the plan. How are you doing today, Joey?
I'm doing all right, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey, we've got an awesome guest with us today. Oh yeah, we do. We have the very popular and well-known Bobby Lieb.
Well,
HomeSmart. Is that right?
I don't know about that.
I mean, come on. You're ranked so high on the social media stuff. I see you all over the place.
You got the name right. I don't know if the popular kind of throws me off for a loop.
I think everybody in the Valley knows you.
I'd like to think so. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. You never know.
Yeah. So how have you been?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. You're going to share a lot of wisdom bombs with us. I know it.
I'm going to do my best.
Yeah, you are. I know you are. So why don't we start with how you got in the business, how long you've been in the business, that type of thing.
Sure. So my background, when I came to Phoenix, my dad had a nightclub called the Jockey Club, which probably a lot of your listeners remember. So we had two clubs. One was at Highland and 20th Street, and one was at Central and Callenbach. So we had the club at Highland for about 9 years, had about 2,000 members of that club. It was a great run. We then sold the club to another nightclub called Vinny's. Then I got into commercial real estate for a couple of years. We got back into opening up a second club in the mid-'80s, and about a year into that, I said, I'm done with this business because it was fun in my 20s having the first club. I met a lot of people, so we had about 2,000 members and did it for a long time. But the second club had young kids, and I just didn't enjoy it anymore. A guy by the name of Mark Moskowitz, who was the top realtor in the Valley, said, look, you know a lot of people, love to be your mentor. Would you want to come work with me? And I just felt it was a great opportunity because I really didn't want to work for a big company. Yeah. And real estate seemed to be a good niche for me, and I felt Mark would be able to help me with that transition.
Got it. So you've been in the real estate world for a long time.
25 years.
25 years.
Wow.
Lots of ups and downs.
Yeah, there has been. There has been. Been pretty lucky, but there's no question it can be a volatile business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've seen it.
We have. We've experienced it, yes.
Absolutely.
It's called short sales.
Yeah, nothing short about it, right?
You're right.
So what are you doing right now? What's keeping Bobby Lieb busy in real estate?
First of all, I work in a particular area. I've been fortunate for the last 15, 16 years. I worked my way into North Central, which is where I live. I coached my kids through all kind of sporting events. My kids went to high school in the area. And my goal was always, after I left Mark after 5 years, was to be a specialist in a particular area. Mark was a listing specialist, and that's really what I want to do. I certainly like buyers, and certainly I like buyers that we sold their house. Yeah. But primarily I wanted to be a listing agent because to me I've always felt the most successful agents in the Valley are the listing agents. Here you and I are talking. Hopefully somebody showing one of my listings. It doesn't always happen easy, but it took me a good 6 or 7 years to kind of work my way into being one of the top agents in North Central. Yeah.
And so do you have a good mix then, or are you primarily listing right now?
Primary listing. I sold 130 homes last year, already 117 this year, probably 90%, 95% of what I sell are listings.
Okay. All right. Well, and you mentioned those numbers. Those are big numbers, especially we were talking before the show. It's not like you have some big, gigantic team behind you, right? I mean,
I am solo. As crazy
that blows me away. Yeah.
As crazy as it seems, I just felt like I'm a workaholic, and I really just want to just answer to myself and of course my wife. Yeah. And I have an assistant, Kathy, that was a Realty Executives when I first started 17 years ago. She's been with me for 17 years now, which is amazing. Anybody can put up with me that long, but she's amazing what she does, keeping track of it. But I work 7 days a week. I find time to work out, play golf, and all that good stuff. But I love what I do, and I like being in my area, and that's kind of what I do.
I was going to say, with that volume as a solo agent, basically, I was going to say, how do you find time to do anything else, right? But
I don't sleep.
I do see on your Facebook page you definitely play some golf.
I do. I really I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I just work crazy hours, but I'm always available, and I think that's the thing that is a key to me. I always answer my phone, good and bad or indifferent phone calls I get from people, but people are surprised that I answer the phone, and to me it's important, and sometimes it's bad calls, but more time it's good calls that people call me. Yeah,
for sure. No, that's great, and I think that more agents need to do it. because you've had the times, I'm sure, and this isn't a knock on agents necessarily. This is just anything in general. When you're an entrepreneur, is answering the phone is a big deal.
It's huge. You know what? And I will tell you, Jeff, that the thing that for me is I teach a class once a month, and I get about 100 people there. I tell people to communicate. A lot of people, work out of their house, they're not around humans at all during the day. And when I first started off, and even today, I need to be around people equal or much smaller than me so I can learn from. You can't learn by being at home and hiding. It's just, I don't see how people do it. And I see the successful agents surround themselves with people that are as successful as them.
Right.
And you learn from other people. You can't learn if you're at home. So to me, communication is such a big deal to me.
Right.
And I don't see that in a lot of people today.
Yeah. No, I agree. One thing that fascinated me is the volume that you are doing. You were saying that as far as the north central area, I mean, that you've got it down to so many miles by so many miles. I mean, as far as your territory that you want to work.
I do. It's kind of a running joke because people, I sometimes I'll get people call me and say I got a house in Paris Valley in Arcadia, and I'll co-list those. But I pretty much, my geographical area is like 15th Avenue to 32nd Street, around Camelback to a little bit north of Northern, and that's where I focus on.
Yeah. And Joey and I talk a lot about figuring out that niche, right? And sometimes it can be a niche on who exactly do you want to do business with?
Sure.
Could be a niche. But what you've done is you've said, okay, basically drawing a square on a map,
right,
saying that I'm going to own that area.
I didn't say I was going to own it, but that's okay. I worked it. I really have. I mean, all my advertising, geared towards that, our local paper. I did newsletters. I do magnets. I mean, everything I do. I have a bus stop that people make fun of, but I really, some of those magazines are awesome that go around the valley, but those don't hit the territory that I want to work in. So everything I do is geared towards that particular area, that brand, and that way people can't help but know that I'm working that area.
Right. So people give you a hard time about the bus stop?
They totally. Yeah, they draw mustaches on it, and it was my birthday, put a birthday hat on it, and they'll make. But you know what? The thing is, they see it. I mean, as much as people ask me, the bus stop costs me about $450 a month, and they go, "Does it work?" I don't know if it does, but I know if you got 50,000 cars a day driving by it, they're gonna see it whether they like it or not, and I try to get rid of it, and my wife won't let me, and my daughter won't let me, so I guess I'm stuck with it. So
That's so funny. You mentioned and maybe you can share with agents that are listening, the importance of having a mentor.
Yeah. So when I first got out of the nightclub business, Mark Moskowitz was really the reason why I went into real estate. And Mark, again, was a top agent in the Valley, and you learn so much from a mentor. Too many times people think, they get out of real estate school, they're ready for the world. My daughter, matter of fact, has been a realtor now part-time for about 4 years. I remember when she took the classes about 2-3 years ago, asked me questions about certain things on the test. I go, I don't have an idea, because even though you may pass that school test, it's not the real world out there. And I think, too many people think it's a get-rich-quick scheme out there. It's not. I paid my dues for 5 years with Mark. I learned everything about it because I knew a lot of people in the Valley, but I was a nightclub slug is what I call myself. And what Mark gave me was instant credibility to learn how to do real estate, where people would identify me as a realtor, not as a nightclub person. That's the problem is, I don't think any of us ever dreamed we'd be realtors. We did something else in a previous life. So you need that credibility. And I had a guy that was very, very patient with me. And now what I do is I teach a class once a month. I get 100-something people in there every month, and I don't get paid to do it. I do it because I feel like it's our duty as veterans to teach other people. I tell people, here's, as a marketing thing, and marketing is my specialty, here's what's worked for me, here's what doesn't work for me, here's where I've been sued, here's things I've done wrong, and people are amazed, but I think we owe it, just like Mark spent his time teaching me. People are shocked that I'm going to tell them how I got sued or how what's worked and hasn't worked, but I think why not? I mean, I don't have anything to hide, and I think I wish somebody would have done that with me instead of trial and error, which is a lot of times how you fail, kick back up. So it worked for me, and I want to help other people do the same thing.
Okay. And I know you mentioned you've been successful building kind of that database, right? Or a lot of people. Is that coming from just talking to so many people, or is there some way that you're staying in front of your database or your past clients?
As I mentioned to you before we started, there's probably not a bigger technology idiot in the valley than me, so I don't keep a database. What I would tell you is my advertising really, one thing I've found many, many years doing this, people are not loyal. And like when my kids went to this one particular school, I was the star realtor while my kids were there. As soon as I left, they forgot about me and somebody else came on board. So I think the advertising that I do in my area keeps my name out there. And plus, to be honest with you, the best advertising I have are signs, especially sold signs. So there's nothing else that I can do better than saying, hey, I sold X amount of houses in there. My advertising shows that. So the database is great that 3,000 people, but again, people are not loyal. Your family's not loyal. Yeah. Your family, your brothers and sisters get married, and they go, well, we know, everybody knows a realtor. So that it's just too hard to keep track of the people, but my signs hopefully do that, and my advertising does.
Well, I can imagine, right? 130 some signs in a year in a very small area. So it's probably all over the place, right? That's great. That's great. Hey, before we move to the next segment, and since you do these classes, this is probably going to be such an easy question, but what advice would you give an agent right now? Let's say whether that's brand new agent or maybe an agent that they're just saying, my business has slowed a bit. What would you tell them to do starting right now to try to get business?
Number one, mentor. I think the mentor is a big key. And probably the second biggest thing I tell people is be patient. You're not going to make a lot of money quickly. You may make a quick sale, but it goes away. Patience is hard because there probably is no less, besides being a technology idiot, I'm not very patient at all. But I really think there's a lot of highs and lows. Obviously, the short sale took a lot of us down, but you got to, like when I played baseball in college, I batted, 300, over 300, which is good in baseball. Mm-hmm. In our business, you're going to fail 7 out of 10 times when you go on listing appointments and taking buyers out. And you can't let that get you down. It's easier said than done. But when I lose a listing, and I hate to lose anything, I hate to lose. But if I do, it just fires me back up to get the next one. But I think patience and, as I said, the mentor thing is so important. I see agents that they get out of real estate school, they think they're ready to be the number one realtor in the world, and it ain't going to happen. It's a 3 or 4 year process. If you're going to make this a long-term business, which I am going to keep doing until people could hire me, you got to have somebody that leads the way for you and shows you that it's not all easy. And you have to struggle. I mean, if you don't struggle, then you're not doing anything right, or you're not doing this for a long period of time, because there is a lot of highs and lows. But I think really the mentor thing is the biggest key. And don't act like you know it all. The problem I see with a lot of people, they come out of real estate school, they think they know it all. I've had people that say, I'd love for you to train me. And I sit down with them. They're telling me how to do my business and what they're going to do. I'm going, you're not for me, because you're not listening to me. And that's the problem I see with a lot of people that come out now.
Great advice. Yeah, that's really great advice. All right, so are you ready to get in the ring with the Maniacs?
I don't know. I'm a little nervous, but go for it.
Okay, we will. I'm going to ring that twice just because. All right, here we go. What's the best advice that anyone's ever given you?
I think for real estate wise is you take advantage of the contacts and really interact with people. I think for me, I love being around people. I go to parties and networking. And I never take it for granted that even though I've been successful, that you're going to keep being successful. I'm always a little nervous when the new year comes up. All of a sudden, I'm starting off with 0 sales. I don't ever sit back on my laurels. I'm fired up and going, I don't want to lose to somebody else. So I figure out a different way to reinvent myself every year.
There you go. All right. Do you have a favorite mobile app?
Didn't I tell you I was a technology idiot?
I know.
You know what? I'm an AOL guy, so I'm going to have to skip that question.
Okay.
Let's move on to question.
That works for me.
Give me a choice. Is there a choice I could pick from, or
Facebook, texting, email?
All right. Yeah. I mean,
do you get a lot of texting, or I know you use
I
the phone
do.
a lot.
I do a lot. Yeah, and I got to tell you, sometimes my owner of my company has been on a 24-hour delay because sometimes I don't say the right thing to people when they send me something that may be mean. He tells me to hold back for 24 hours because I could get myself in trouble. But no, I do text. Voice text is dangerous. After you read the word sometimes, I go, oh my God, I could be arrested for that. But to me, Facebook is amazing. Facebook, it's free. what I do when I do post on there, not only do I post the different houses I have, but I also thank the agents who I've had cross sales with, because they don't get credit for it, and that makes the agents appreciative, and hopefully they'll want to work with me again.
Well,
if not me, my assistant Kathy, but that people like to be recognized, and I think that's what it does there.
You know, I haven't heard that. That's a good one.
That's a real good one.
real good. How about a book recommendation? Agent or just
I'm
entrepreneurship
going to tell you
whatever.
something that's interesting. So I'm not a reader, but as much as I would give kudos to somebody, the Callaways have written 2 books, and I introduced Joanne Callaway and Joe at a meeting recently. When I saw their book, it's called Clients First. They've actually written 2 books, and it is so. I got caught up into it because I'm looking at it going, oh my gosh, to learn from somebody else that they are doing amazing volume. There's a lot of stuff in there that I learned from it and agreed with it, and they just were really. I think that book, Client First, for the realtor part, they can learn a lot from that.
Okay. All right, and we have a final question here. I'm going to put in the mask there. I'll let you draw it out.
You're making me nervous doing stuff blindly.
Oh, come on, you can do that.
How many choices do I have to pick from here?
I think there's a couple in that one.
All right. I can't read your writing. This is as bad as mine. All right.
I can read it for you if you need.
What is the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
There we go.
I would say about 3 years ago, I went to Israel with my wife and a couple of friends, and it doesn't matter, I don't care what religion you are, it was just mind-boggling to see what these people, some of them live in fear without question, because always, you'll be in some restaurants that'll say there was a bullet that came here, you look over the mountains and you see gunshots going off. But I think experiencing Israel for 10 days and listening to the soldiers that have been through the experience, it just 3 years, it almost feels like it was so surreal to see how that country, and they don't, we're fearful what we read in the paper about what goes over there. They're just like it's everyday experience, and it's just, if you haven't been to Israel, it was the most amazing experience that my wife and I ever had.
Okay. Yeah, I have not, but Joey has.
Yeah.
Have you, Joey? It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Yeah.
You know what's also neat is you get these soldiers that come from the United States that live in America. They go over there to visit the country, and they fall in love with it, and they end up joining the Army over there. And they're called lone soldiers. And even though their parents are saying, don't go over there, don't fight, people just, you fall in love with the country and the people. So it was a great experience for us.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Joey, you really enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it. You know, what really intrigued me was everyone, they're required to be in the Army.
Yes, 18 years old, men and women.
18, men and women. Yeah. So they learn how to do what Jeff knows, Krav, right?
Yeah.
Krav Maga, whatever it is.
Yes.
But yeah, they're tough. I mean, you see them walking around with, machine
those
guns.
are the badasses of the world. I know a few of them in Phoenix that I work for a developer here in town that used to be in the Army, and those are the toughest souls that I think are in this face of the earth. Well, they don't need weapons. They're just, there's nothing that they fear.
So they have these. Right?
Yes, they do. Whatever that is. Yes, I agree, and more so. Yes,
absolutely. Hey, thank you so much for being
my pleasure. Thanks
hey,
for
if agents that are listening right now would like to reach out to you directly, especially, obviously the mentor thing, right, and what you guys have going on with your office, how would they reach out to you?
I'll be glad to give you my email if you don't laugh at me.
Okay, I won't laugh, I promise.
It's Bob, BOBLIEB, @AOL.com. There's got to be a few people out there that still do AOL. Or my phone number, my office number is 602. What is my office number? I'm going to give you my mobile number, 602-376-1341. And I pretty much always answer the phone. I guess it's a good test to people to see if I ansser it. But I will.
There we go.
I will. Unless I owe them money. If I owe them money, then it might be a different deal.
You want to give them the office number for that one? No,
that's fine. That'll work. They got my mobile, so it's easy to find.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being
here. Thanks for having me.
It's been a lot of fun.
Anytime.
I learned some things. How about you, Joey?
I learned a lot.
Good. Well, until next time, everybody out there, this is Jeff Underwood along with
Joey Sampaga,
the Real Estate Marketing Maniac, signing off. Have a fantastic day.
Adios.
Yeah.
Good job. The Weekly Closer podcast is sponsored by Jake Krabby, NMLS number 877141 at Academy Mortgage. Are you looking to buy or refinance a home?
Jake Krabby is your mortgage professional. Contact Jake at 480-442-9291. Jake Krabby is a loan officer at Academy Mortgage, NMLS number 877141. State license for Arizona number 0920357, AZBK number 0904081, and New Mexico number 877141. Academy Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 3113, and New Mexico 01451. Call 480-442-9291. Address 15333 North Pima Road, Suite 205, Scottsdale, Arizona 85260. Academy Mortgage is an equal housing